Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone on today? Lilly Ledbetter, 1938 to present, celebrating iconic women for Women History Month. It was in Alabama where she was born and raised that would eventually lead her to the nation's capital. Lilly Ledbetter, she began a crusade and was eventually inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011. She has now become a women's equality activist, public speaker, and author. Now, Lilly Ledbetter, a powerful activist for women's pay equality. She filed a suit in 1998 against Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. And most of you all remember Goodyear, and a lot of people have their Goodyear credit cards and things like that. And that was her former employer. And she was paid significantly less than her male colleagues for equal work, for the same type of work, but less pay. Now, the court went on and ruled against her in 2007 because they said the suit had to be brought within 6 months of the discrimination occurring. But guess what Lilly did? She fought back, making the case that she hadn't discovered the discrepancy until several years later. Her story caught the attention of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who helped enact the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, helping employees win pay discrimination claims beyond the 6-month period. Now, the act was the first piece of legislation signed into law by President Barack Obama in 2009. Ledbetter is known for her quote, "Equal pay for equal work is a fundamental American principle," which she stated in a speech at the 2008 Democratic National Convention. Ledbetter continues to fight for women's rights and equal pay. And this is important for you all to know this because, if you're doing equal work, then there ought to be equal pay for doing equal work. And so this is what, for more than a decade, Lilly Ledbetter fought to achieve that pay equity. And it was in Alabama where she was born and raised now. And that's where she had began her crusade, which led to the nation's capital. And so by the end of her career, though, with Goodyear Tire, she was earning less than any of the men in the same position. And she actually was the only female in her position as an overnight supervisor. She was actually an overnight supervisor, and she discovered this years later about the discrepancy in pay. And although she signed a contract with her employer that she would not discuss pay rates, but just before her retirement, an anonymous individual slipped a note into her mailbox listing the salaries of the men performing the same job. And in spite of the fact that Ledbetter had received a top performance award from the company, she discovered that she had been paid considerably less than her male counterparts. And when she filed that formal complaint with the EEOC, most people know it as the EEOC, but it's the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and later initiated a lawsuit alleging pay discrimination. Now, after filing her complaint with the EEOC, Ledbetter, then in her 60s, was reassigned to such duties as lifting heavy tires. See, that's the kind of stuff that they do, when you file a complaint. They start messing with you. But anyway, the former lawsuit claimed pay discrimination under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Equal Pay Act of 1963. And if you can probably look this case up, it is Ledbetter versus Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, 2007. So in a 5-4 decision, the court determined that employers cannot be sued under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act if the claims are based on decisions made by the employer 180 days ago or more. And that's the thing with the EEOC. You have to file your complaint within 180 days, because if you don't, they will not be able to take your case. If anyone has dealt with the EEOC, that is the truth. Even in the state I reside in, it has to be within 180 days. If anything over that, they won't take your case. They will tell you that it's too old. And that can be a punch in the stomach, especially if you don't know, because not everybody gets it right. And sometimes you don't even know, because back in the day, you could not discuss pay, and pay was never brought up, the salaries and hourly pay. Now it has to be, uh, um, I would say, for a lack of a better word, exposed. Now employees have a right to know. The salaries have to be posted, or you have a right to know what the salaries are. That is something that is actually become under the that now is able to, employers have to do that. They have to do that. And so, due to the fact that Ledbetter's claim regarding her discrimination pay was filed outside of that time frame, she was not entitled to receive any monetary award. Since that decision, though, she has lobbied tirelessly for equal pay for men and women, and her efforts finally proved successful when President Barack Obama signed the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act into law on January 29, 2009. Now, Ledbetter said of her continuous and persistent efforts, "I told my pastor, when I die, I want him to be able to say at my funeral that I made a difference." So, this is phenomenal that she actually, like I said, was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2011. And, it's been, such a long time of women not having equal pay for equal work. And usually when you stand up and complain, you see how they had her to start lifting heavy tires because she complained. And it was like, well, let's see what you could do. But see, if you're doing the same job as a man and they're not lifting heavy tires, but they're getting more money than you, that's a problem. That's problematic. And I'm glad that she was able to go on to become that crusade and continue to fight for pay equity, and equality of pay for women and things like that. And so she is an iconic woman, celebrating iconic women for Women History Month. So God bless you all on today. I hope you have a beautiful day, and stay safe out there. God bless, and I will be back with you all soon.